I'm going to figure out how I can be away this weekend because 500,000 protesters are expected to descend on Washington to push for more gun control and school safety. Hundreds of other protests are planned around the world on the same day. And we're told that each march is basically student-led. But did students really organize all of this in the 5 weeks since the Florida shooting? Let's look into who's really behind this with Washington Free Beacon reporter Stephen Gutowski. Stephen, great to see you. This is just a bunch of kids having fun and doing what's right in a time where we need to say enough is enough.
Yeah, certainly that's the media narrative on this protest, right? It's just the kids sort of put this on all themselves out of the blue. They're just very talented kids.
Yeah,
right?
Articulate on TV. They're on 60 Minutes. We might play a soundbite, but...
Sure, but the reality is that that's not true. There's a number of groups that are helping organize this event. Everytown for Gun Safety, which is Michael Bloomberg's gun
He's
control
personally
group.
put in how much money into that group, too?
Millions.
Millions and millions. He's a multi-billionaire himself. That's his big issue, gun control.
Absolutely. And so they're involved. They even created a new group called Students Demand Change. So, Students Demand Action, just like Moms Demand Action.
So and again, because it's a 501c4, as you wrote in your piece, it's limited on what information we can get. But we can bet, and this has come out, that this is going to be a massive push for voter registration. And each of these sites, they're going to have it canvassed with voter registration stations. So the goal here is?
Yeah, it's to change policy, right? It's to change the law.
To take back power. The goal is to take back power. And in the midterms, drive the election narrative going into 2020. And it's the same kind of folks that were behind the Women's March, correct?
Yes, some of them are absolutely involved in organizing this and applying for permits for the march as well. And the group itself that they've created, the C4 that you mentioned, that group is not just spending the money they've raised on this particular march. They've also said they're going to spend it going forward on other lobbying efforts.
Ah, very interesting. Well, we should be all excited because George Clooney and his wife and his 2 children are coming because he wrote a check. He just sold that big tequila company for I think he made personally $500 million off that. Not a bad payday. So he wrote a $500,000 check that's chump change to this group. But he's going to be there. So they're going to have a celebrity push, much like the Women's March. And and this is all part of an organizational effort to drive the political narrative, correct?
Yeah, that's absolutely right. I mean, it's not just George Clooney either. It's also Oprah Winfrey donated $500,000. So did Steven Spielberg, Jeffrey Katzenberg. So there's certainly a lot of.
Oh, these are the old Clintonistas. They're all back. It's the Clintonistas. Yeah. Well, so we don't have time to play it, but the students went on 60 Minutes. They're getting the full media push, and it is going to be blanketing the country. We see the graphic. Do we have the graphic that we can put up from the march where the actual? Yeah. I mean, look at that. You can't even put the red flags. I mean, you got to hand it to them. They got the money behind them, and they got the organization. Will this have big impact, do you think, in November? Is this an issue that drives the electorate?
It hasn't been in the past, right? Well, in probably the opposite direction of what the organizers want. I mean, in the past, guns have been an issue that Republicans have dominated, that voters have gone to Republicans for because they prefer their policies.
Yeah, so the Second Amendment types are like, whoa, this is unfair. They're coming after our guns, law-abiding people's guns. We got to get out there and vote. So it could have a boomerang effect, but they're going to register a lot of people to vote. Stephen, great work on the piece.